Welcome, everyone. First and foremost, thank you for joining us today. We do appreciate your time. I also want to extend my gratitude to the IAHHC team for helping to spread the word for today's workshop. I do feel privileged to be a member of this group, and what a response for our first workshop here. Typically, we get a lot of the same questions during these workshops. How does it work? Who is Cozy? What makes you different? What does it cost? Obviously, we want to ensure that everyone has your questions and feedback acknowledged. Naturally, for us to best answer your questions, we have some questions that we're going to ask you today. And through this process, we'll answer all of your questions. I'm going to hang out after the workshop has ended, and anyone is welcome to stick around. We do have 51 guests registered for today's workshop. This is live. If everyone can check your settings, ensure you're muted for the time being to limit the background noise. And are you ready? This is my first presentation to the Indiana market direct using our new AI valuations and also welcoming our small business owners. So very exciting. Now, remember I said that we would have some questions for you today, and let's start with this one. Who knows the answer to this? What do these things have in common? If you know right away, go ahead and put it in our chat. I'll give you a second. So these are all things that are impacting our ability to grow our business the way that we want. They impact our profits. What makes them different? Anyone have any ideas? Well, in the first column, would you agree? These are outside factors. You can't control the regulatory changes. You can participate in voicing your opinions or voting, but you can't directly decide whether or not you're going to comply. It's the same with reimbursement rates. How nice would it be if you could set your own? And the competition. Companies are growing, merging, moving into spaces where smaller business models used to dominate. We also can't focus our energies on that because we can't control what other people are doing. So the second column, however, these are inside factors. These are things that you can work on internally. If you're experiencing staffing shortages, what can you do to mitigate this? Maybe hire another recruiter, replace the headcount with efficiencies by using more technology more effectively. What about financial management? What are you doing as an owner to ensure your organization remains financially viable? Dr. Silva, who is our Chief Medical Officer and a Cozy graduate, said it best on our call the other day. You can't do God's work in medicine if you can't keep the doors open. You have to have a business. You have a business to run while you're out changing the world. And since we already have agreed we can't control the outside factors, our primary intention for today's workshop is discovering the inside factors in your organization. How much are they impacting your business? And also provide you with a roadmap that you can use to start taking the necessary steps to recover some of these profits. So for the last 2 decades, since 2001, the cycle of success has been using a four-stage holistic approach to guide companies to solving their biggest problems in a structured and organized fashion. Companies have been using these guidelines across the nation to drive rapid growth, empower their employees, and increase the value of their organizations. This is John Mountner. He's our founder and CEO. He's personally put hundreds of these workshops on over the years. And one of his first questions he asks is, have you heard of Richard Montagnez? Now, up until last year, most of you, if not all of you, would probably say no. But today, I'm sure there's at least a handful of us, if not most of us, on this call that have streaming services. And have you noticed there's been an influx in true story movies or limited series? And one movie that came out in 2023 is actually the story of Richard Montañez. And it's called Flaming Hot. If you haven't seen it, here is a trailer of his story.
We all write our own stories. Where is Richard? I'd like to speak to him. Where?
I'm going to restart that because I was not sharing the sound appropriately. Try it again.
We all write our own stories. Where is Richard? I'd like to speak to him. Where? This is mine. That's me, the Mero Mero, Mr. Richard Montañez. I'm the guy who helped bring the world the most popular snack it's ever seen. Are you ready? A huevo. I've been ready. All right, all right. It was a little bit more like this. Spicy? See, that's how I got here. Dear God, please forgive me for the gang, drugs, stolen cars. What the heck, man? Move.
Hey, he's trying, pendejo.
Go ahead, baby. The guy started at the very bottom. I know I don't look it. I got a PhD. I'm poor, hungry, and determined, sir.
Okay, I can see you're gonna be a weird one.
What's happening?
Lay off, son. Lots of it.
Frito-Lay isn't getting enough orders to keep the factory open. Who eats Food Ranch anyway? That lady.
Wow,
What is it?
it's fun.
Stop eating it.
I like it. It was good.
I'd been searching for an answer. And there it was. They had been there the entire time. I got an idea. It's a spicy chip. It's gonna change everything. It will save our factory. And you're a janitor. Okay, no, hang on.
Figure out the next step. Say the Hispanic market will not be ignored.
The Hispanic market will not be ignored.
Good, but in your voice.
We're wasting time on the janitor's crazy idea.
Guys like you and me, we don't get shots like this.
See that guy right there? I see a chingon, a montañez.
Yo soy Montañez.
A montañez. Get out there and be great.
We want to know that we matter for you. If we knew that there was a product out there for us, we'd say, "You can't really count on this."
I got a little hood there at the end, but
It's good or bad? Super good.
All right. So, has anyone actually seen that? It's a pretty good movie. I watched it not long after it came out. I think it's on Hulu now. Anyway, Richard retired from PepsiCo in 2019, with his last title being the Vice President of Multicultural Sales. Flaming Hot Cheetos is one of the best-selling products in Frito-Lay history. There has been some controversy surrounding his Flaming Hot creation story, but PepsiCo publicly supports Richard's journey and celebrates his contributions over his 40-year career with the company. So you may be wondering why John tells this story. How often do you get your employees' input? Do they feel comfortable coming to you to share ideas, blockers? Is all input making it to you? How often do you stop and assess your ideas and your issues? Now, if you're like most business owners we talk to, there's a lot of fires that are needing to be put out. There's not a lot of time. We have to focus on our issues at hand. Companies may not be growing as fast as they were even just a couple years ago. We're in a different market, so we have to think a little differently, more strategically. And we are going to take a few minutes to do that now. This is where the interactive part of our workshop starts to come in. So we're going to go over 5 questions today. These are just a sample of the questions that we ask during the bootcamp or the test drive, where we invite your team to join you, giving you a view of what their issues are and also a forum to share their ideas. Historically, these workshops have been done in person, and we've used a post-it note system where we could end up with hundreds of little sticky notes on the wall by the time it was over. And we're going to try something a little bit different today. We've made some adjustments this year for our online sessions, and have incorporated both AI and automation in today's workshop. Information included is industry examples that's been generated by artificial intelligence combined with market data analysis conducted by technical professionals. So these are meant to give a representative figure of revenue opportunities within the business. All figures are scalable to your organization. Our program is fully customizable. So using your cell phone or camera, and I'm actually going to drop this link in the chat box. If you're receiving this later, you'll have it in your email. If you're on your cell phone, you can actually take a screenshot of this and go to your camera, use Google Lens to take you to the site. Okay? We're going to do a quick inventory of what you think is causing the most issues in your organization. You can choose more than one answer per each question. In fact, we generally see CEOs coming back with 1 to 3 responses per question. And I am going to go ahead and start this timer. We are back, and what do our results say? Let me stop sharing this screen and go to a different one. Okay. And then let me share this other screen. All right. So we had 9 responses come in during our workshop. Where are you guys at? We had 55% of the people that responded are mid-sized business, greater than 10 employees, and 44% of those who have responded are small business, so less than 10 employees. So question 1, what is negatively impacting our customer experience? Well, we have long wait times, 19%, lack of personalized care. So if we were looking at this, we would say our top 3 out of everyone who answered our questions today are saying that what is negatively impacting the customer experience is limited patient engagement, long wait times, and lack of personal care. This is a big one for you guys in this industry. What's slowing down profitability and cash flow? Okay, we have 13%, a 10%. 10%. All right. So inadequate marketing strategies. All right. We're not getting our name out to enough people. Inefficient administrative processes. Once we get our name out to people and we have business coming in, we're not handling it well. Delayed billing. That affects when we get paid, right? Late payments from insurers, again, affects when we get paid, which can affect our cash flow. What communication problems are you experiencing, internal or external? Look at how big this one is, guys. We have 17%. So our top 3, 17% of everybody that responds shared these top 3. Poor leadership communication, poor interdepartmental communication, and inconsistent patient reminders. All 3 of these are communication, about internal communication, because this one is from one to another, again, leader to employee, this one, leader to, okay, moving on. Where are the biggest productivity and efficiency challenges? All right, look for the top 3 again. Oof, 15%, 15% of the people that responded are having staffing issues. 12% outdated processes and inefficient patient flow. So those are the top 3 that are causing productivity and efficiency challenges. And the last one, how can we be more competitive, innovative, or value added? What is keeping us from reaching those goals? It's a competitive market, a failure to leverage digital tools, right? We're in a virtual world, and limited use of patient data. A couple of crazy ideas that people have that you think will bring instant revenue or improvement. Booking system, track better, people, appointments, build your own EMR. So we just took a look at what our results say. You may have heard the saying that 20% of our efforts will give us 80% of the results, but that'll only work if we're focused on the right things, the most impactful, the most valuable. We've identified, and now we're going to categorize and value to give us a top 10 attack list. So those top 10 should give us 80% of the results that you'll see in 12 to 24 months' time. Imagine you, as the CEO, just saw these results from your organization. What if we can pinpoint the top 10 that give us 80% of the impact, the most bang for our buck? Let's do the next step, a 7M analysis. The 7M will help us get focused and find what matters most. 7M is a common business framework, and it's been used for years to help companies strategize. Manpower, that's your people. Machinery is software, hardware, metal. You have methods, which is your processes, your systems, procedures, etc. Money, financial executives, executive financials, accounting, management, those in charge, what are they in charge of? Sales and marketing, telling other people we're in business about our services, what we offer. Now, we've just identified the issues at your company, and we want to know, where do we go from here? What do you do? It's difficult. You don't want to start chasing shiny objects. You want to attack the most valuable, most important things in the business. Now, we've let AI help us place our responses in the appropriate 7M category, and you notice that a couple of them have more than one. And this is good. Remember, we're trying to narrow our focus. So the next step of our proprietary analysis is to assign a value to our opportunities. Remember, we asked AI to help us out with typical increases that were based on industry and company size. But what do you think? Are these in line with what you would think your opportunities are costing? If we were to work on just these few things over the next 10 to 12 months, we could potentially find $485,000 in additional revenue just from one person's ideas. How powerful this can be when we bring your team in. Now, our last step is going to be to prioritize. And for that, we arrange into our top 10 based on our findings, pinpointing exactly where we can start taking back control of our income. And that's what you're going to work on for the next 12 months because it's the most impactful and the most valuable things to your organization by your organization. Can you imagine what this would show you if you had key people from your staff here? Who would you invite? Say you have 10 people from your staff, not necessarily your leadership team, but they aren't excluded. We ask 10 questions. That generates a couple hundred responses. We put them through the 7M analysis. We agree on evaluation. We receive our top 10 attack list. And most top 10s, especially at the mid-sized companies, are worth millions of dollars. So what I'm telling you is within your organization, based on your and your team's input, that organizing that input, there's potentially hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars within your 7M analysis right now. What are you going to do with that information? You have unrealized gains in your organization. Do you do something about it? Or do you just let another year pass you by and hope maybe next year will be better? Personally, I hope you do something about it. So back to our company. Now, you, as a CEO, because you're obviously not one to leave money on the table, have decided you're absolutely going to move forward with your top 10 attack list. You set up a repeat weekly meeting on your calendar with your team, and you guys get to work. Uh-oh, what happened here? This is where the intentions start to fall apart. Intentions are like this broken down truck on the side of the road. It was a good idea at the time, but the idea never got implemented. And maybe you talked about it, maybe you met about it, and you did some things about it. But weeks and weeks go by, and good intentions give way to fire drills. More important meetings pop up. You find yourself regularly canceling your reoccurring meetings, and that's a shame because millions and millions of dollars of ideas die on the side of the road, just like this old pickup truck. And we don't want that to happen to you. We want to teach you how to implement your top 10 attack list. And that's the next phase of this process, implementing, getting things implemented. Let me take you back. It's 1970 for some, 1995 for others. Anyone familiar with this story? This is Apollo 13 on a mission to the moon, lifting off from the Kennedy Space Center. And the top of the rocket is the lunar module. It snaps off, it floats around, lands carefully on the moon. They jump out, they do some experiments, take pictures, fly back to Earth. But on that day, that didn't happen. 2 days into the flight to the moon, an oxygen tank exploded. It crippled the aircraft in space. It blew off the entire side of the rocket. Commander Jim Lovell's calm, Houston, we have a problem, or we've had a problem, is actually what he said, signaled a life or death situation. They had no power, no heat, dwindling water supply, and the mission shifted from landing on the moon to saving the crew. Now, did NASA try to find the world's smartest person to fix this? No. They adopted the concept of tiger teams, groups of experts that are brought together to solve specific problems. A battery team for the battery, electrical engineers for the electric communication systems. And when Apollo 13 faced its crisis, several of these tiger teams were quickly formed. And the most famous one was led by a NASA flight director. And these were obviously specialized teams made up a lot of technical experts, and they worked non-stop just on their specific problem to tackle the many challenges that were caused by the explosion. And they had to figure out how to manage power, ensure the crew had oxygen, and solve the issue of removing carbon dioxide from the air in the spacecraft so the astronauts didn't die in space. Nobody wanted that to happen. Apollo 13 is known as NASA's most successful failure because despite the mission's failure to land on the moon, the safe return of the astronauts who landed in the Atlantic Ocean was a remarkable achievement. It's often cited as one of the greatest examples of crisis management, problem solving, and teamwork in history, highlighting how a potentially catastrophic event was overcome by human ingenuity, perseverance, teamwork. Now, you may be wondering at this point, again, what does this have to do with you, CEO? Which I will again answer with a question. Who solves problems better? You guessed it. You guys are so good at this. Teams. Now, there's been a lot of science on team problem solving. It's not even close. For complex problems, an individual can't achieve the same results as a team. And the cycle of success has adapted the concepts of NASA's Tiger teams for companies. So we'll use the 7M analysis to assign a team of specialists on your team to one of the opportunities. And then we help you empower the team to make something happen, to make it better. We teach a specific approach to do this, SWOT analysis, root cause, because we must get to the root of the issues before we can fix them. And we help facilitate these meetings because we want to make sure that the best ideas are being implemented. So usually within 4 to 5 weeks, which is nothing in business time, right? An hour a week, the team can usually find a solution to their problem. And so you want to be running multiple Tiger teams at a time, not just one. Isn't that complicated, you ask? What are the benefits of doing it this way? Well, you get quick wins. 4 to 6 weeks is a really fast turnaround time and offers your staff and your company a quick solution to a problem that has likely been causing major headaches. And that results in faster growth because you're removing the blockers, opening the bottlenecks. Now, the team doesn't have to have a final solution, but they can really put a dent into something, make it better for everyone. Plus, when you empower your employees, you are letting them contribute, take pride, and make an impact as a direct result of their work, which improves employee morale and job satisfaction. Let's face it, we all need a little more of that these days. People like being on these teams too. We incentivize, we recognize their wins. Engaged employees like coming to work. They take pride in making improvements at work. They take ownership after that. So employees who feel empowered are significantly more engaged, placing them in the 79th percentile compared to the 24th percentile for those who feel less empowered. This boost in engagement leads to higher productivity, loyalty, and retention. So companies with highly engaged employees who often feel empowered in their roles will achieve higher earnings per share, EPS. Specifically, companies with high levels of engagement were found to be 21% more profitable than those with lower engagement levels. So simply by doing absolutely nothing, but having happier, more engaged employees, you'll be 21% more profitable. Sounds simple enough. Now, what about this one? What do these things have in common? Fighter jet against your favorite fast food burger. What these are called standard operating procedures. The point is, if your Tiger team or anyone on your team found a way to make something better, sales are up, complaints are down, tasks take less time, they did it, have them write it down. It can be recorded, a process map. Just ensure that the process is saved. Writing it down allows your organization to standardize these results. Everyone can do things the new, better way instead of slipping back into the old way. And if this is done consistently, your results will come to be consistent as well, expected even. So when do you stop creating Tiger teams and creating SOPs in your business? Never. This is a system that you can use for the life of your business. We gave you some insights today on how to use parts of this system, but this is just the tip of the iceberg. So a starting point to achieve the results that you're waiting for. If we look back at the last 100 clients of Cozy and average the results, we see on average, if you invested $1 on tuition, you get 8 to 12 back in the first 12 months. And we'll guide companies through our program to give them results for the life of their business, not just while we work together. Maybe you want happier people or better company reviews. Maybe you want to jumpstart your growth. Maybe you're thinking about retiring, but looking at your finances today, you aren't getting your life's work out of it. Maybe you're years away from retirement, but you want to make sure you get your life's work out of it. Isn't one of our whys usually our legacy? What we leave behind for our families, ourselves? Well, first, I want to congratulate all of you for being here today. Everyone give yourself a hand for showing up. Activity breeds activity, and you coming here is the start of a whole new outlook on improving your business. I very much appreciate the turnout today. It's exciting to have so many people on the call. So what now? You have some choices. You can leave here with the information you learned and hopefully implement some of these ideas we talked about. You can continue on with the COZY program. We have a couple of ways you can do that. We have both a one-day boot camp option for small business and up to 3 hours for a test drive for our mid-size businesses. Each of these options, we invite you to have your team join us. We have a limited amount of scholarship and coupon options for these events. I think I have 5 scholarships for the test drive available today. And if you are interested in either one of those, you'll want to let us know here. This is a short evaluation for today's workshop. If you could take a minute or two to fill it out right now, it should only take a minute. This is how I get credit for you being here today. And also for completing this survey and attending, you'll receive a digital copy of our CEO's best-selling book, The Profit Pattern, which is a thank you from John, as well as the results of your 7M analysis and top 10 attack list. That's it. Does anybody have any questions or anything they want to go over? I am open. Feel free to turn your mics on, raise your hands, point them out, and we're happy to answer any questions that you have. Thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate it. Have a great rest of your day.